All right, and we're live. Welcome back to the Fish Show. I'm here with the DSG. Matt, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sometimes called the DSG. But yeah, man, we started it about 4 years ago, and big Padres fan. We started doing a lot of other content, and we're just kind of rolling. So definitely a passion of mine. I know Trey is a huge huge Padres fan. So excited to talk a little Pods baseball. And
so let's talk about
exactly,
kind of what's
bro.
blowing you up right now, VAR. To people who don't know what it is, go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So about two years or so ago, we were just kind of shooting the shit in a group chat, and my brother's like, dude, like, people always say, we used to call Profar like Mr. Smile. I had another nickname for him, which is like the Professor. He's actually my mom's favorite player, always has been. And everybody loves Pro. So a big stat, I'm assuming most of the people that watch this know, but if not, all good. It's called WAR, which pretty much calculates how good a baseball player is. It stands for wins above replacement. If you have, one win above replacement, it pretty much means you're one iota better, or no, you're worth one more win than the average player at your position is the best way to describe it. So very popular stat. A lot of baseball sabermetrics nerds, they love it. And thing with Pro is we've always said, we're like, dude, this guy's got the best vibes.
Yeah.
He's always smiling. He always seems like everybody loves this guy. So my brother's like, he's like, dude, this guy's got VAR. And I'm like, what's VAR? And he's like, vibes above replacement, baby. And so shout out Mike Devine. I've heard some other people have come up with it. Some people said it's been a thing longer than that. And
I didn't hear it before you guys.
I never really heard of it before my brother said it in 2022. But yeah, dude, vibes above replacement. And
it's a legitimate stat.
And it's similar to kind of how me and my brother kind of live our lives. And when you think SD, right, just kind of chill as hell, and just good vibes, honestly.
Yeah.
And Profar is good vibes, and it's kind of caught on. And we like to say like, oh, this player has VAR as a way to describe, pretty much to say like, this player is sick. Like I enjoy watching this guy, and although it might not show in the the box score, it's fun to root for guys that you think are cool.
Yeah, for sure. So other than Jerkson, and I'd say Manny is another pretty obvious one.
Yeah, Manny's got a good VAR.
Active, healthy Padres right now. So like no Toddy. Like we're talking current Padres. Best VAR right now. I'm going Matt Waldron because he is just. Where would this team be without Matt Waldron?
Oh, dude,
he's never too high, never too low. He's the man. I love Matt Waldron.
Dude, Nux is awesome. His emergence as to becoming like a legit, middle of the rotation guy, and will probably be on our team for the next, 5 years, has been humongous. Couldn't be talked about enough. And you're right, dude. Like you could never tell if he just gave up the longest home run of all time or struck out 9 in a row, right?
Yeah.
That dude he's a stone cold killer. He's got high VAR, Matty Nux.
Yeah.
The thing with VAR too, and before I get into my answer, the thing with VAR is like, if you got a good nickname, huge.
Definitely.
It's all about the nicknames, bro. So dude, I'm going to say, I'm going to say Jackson Merrill, bro. Jackson Merrill.
That's a good one.
Al-Gaib. I always joke, like, the thing with Jackson Merrill is like, this dude is the most confident baseball player I've ever seen. Like,
at 21,
he's shortstop for San Antonio this time last year. Now he's going to be an all-star in the majors playing the outfield. Like, his confidence after the games too, like they ask him questions. Some people at the beginning of the season were like, oh, this guy's a little cocky. I'm like, no, he backs it up, and he seems like a good dude. Like, there's a difference between being cocky. Cocky is, when I think cocky, I think of the dude that, like, talks a big talk, doesn't walk a big walk. Jackson Merrill walks a big walk, bro. And just high VAR, bro. The dude, I like guys who, the cool thing about VAR too, I know I'm not trying to go too deep on this kind of fake stat, but the cool thing about VAR is like there's totally different types, right? Like Matty Nux VAR and Jackson Merrill VAR are completely different.
Yep.
It's similar with WAR, how like, Ha-Seong Kim can have a 4-WAR season and Toddy can have a 4-WAR season, and they could be for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like Toddy's could be, I mean, he was great defensively last year, but Toddy's could be all offensive. Kimmy's could be all defense. People got different vibes. Right.
Yep.
And it's like, I feel like when you own your shit and like, who you are, it's fun to root for. Another guy who has high VAR, Donnie Barrels.
Dude,
Donnie Barrels is sick.
Pro.
Stone cold.
He's a pro.
That dude doesn't say a word. All he does is hit.
Yeah, he's a professional. Like that dude is bottom of the 7th, like game on the line. I need a base hit. I want Solano at the dish. I want Iguodala. You know what I'm saying? Like laser beam pointed at the earth. I want Solano.
Baby. Back when First Take was ripping, bro, with Max and Stephen A.
Now it's not that good anymore. I'm not a big fan.
Those shows are, dude. I mean, like the issue is like with all of those talk shows is that you can only talk about the same shit so much and hear the same take, right? Like, and now there's so many ways to regurgitate or like kind of ingest content that you don't have to choose, Stephen A. and Shannon or like Skip. Like you could pick so many different people. So it's very interesting. I mean, obviously they've made careers and stuff that
it used to be like when it was the main way to get information, it definitely was killer. Like it was awesome. But as like you said, with the emergence of Twitter and YouTube and like John Boy Medias and all that, and even you guys, there's no point for it anymore. Like I don't need to see that content.
You don't. Yeah, it's definitely changed. Sports media has changed a lot, and that's why I think with what you're doing with the Fish Show and like DSG, and there's so many opportunities. And I have, you're in school. I have a full-time job. This is more of a side thing, but I'd love to make it full-time one day. And I think there's never been a better time that you can make a passion full-time than, 2024, where you got everything at your fingertips. You want to start a podcast?
Start a podcast.
Hey, $30 maybe, if that.
If
you want to
that.
do on Amazon, and if people like your stuff, they're gonna ride. So it's been great, dude.
Yeah. All right. Getting back to baseball a little bit.
Yeah.
The current leader in VAR and I'd say the team MVP, Jurickson Profar. Would you say he's like MLB candidate for MVP?
I think if the season ended today, he would be. I think if the season ended today in the National League, he would be top 5.
100%.
Probably around 4. Honestly, probably around 4 or 5. I would say Shohei is probably the MVP right now. Then you look at the National League. So in the NL Central right now, no one's really fucking blowing me away, right? No one. So nothing. Then you look at the NL East. No one on the Mets. You would say maybe a Harper, but he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So let me look up right now NL odds, because NL MVP odds. I would say right now it's probably. I mean, Mookie got hurt, but yeah, they're running away with it. Shohei's running away with it right now. But
it's crazy to me he's doing it as a DH.
Well, I'm looking right now, and it's Shohei. They have Bryce Harper up there, Freddie Freeman up there, Marcell Ozuna, who's fallen off a little bit.
From the Braves?
Yeah, Marcell from the Braves. Or Ozuna from the Braves.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking right now, man. Honestly, I think Profar probably, if the season ended today, would be, if we're really talking value to your team and what he's meant, top 3 in the National League.
100%.
Ended today.
Yeah, this Padre team is nowhere near where they are without Jurickson Profar. Like
he's changed everything.
Yeah, he's the definition of culture. It's Jurickson Profar. I mean, everyone else is awesome. I love this whole team.
Yeah.
But if Jurickson Profar didn't emerge as he did, they're in the mess with the rest of those other teams. They're not, pulling away a little bit.
Well, and it's cool to see, man. Like so obviously, I mean, you mentioned, I remember us talking before, not today, but before, how you still rock with the Chargers, right?
I do.
And so the Chargers leaving, I used to be a diehard fan, not a fan anymore, all good. But with the Chargers leaving, it left a void, right? Mm-hmm. And the Padres have done a great job of taking that void and really establishing themselves as the team of San Diego.
Yeah.
And when you're the team, you're going to need some guys to step up, right? Mm-hmm. And especially with Xander being, fractured shoulder, Toddy being you need dudes like Profar to step up and establish themselves. And like, how awesome is this story? Number 1 prospect in baseball 11 years ago, never really becomes the guy. And now he's the guy, bro. It's been pretty dope. I'm very happy to see that. Like when you have, a guy like that step up, it's just so massive for the culture, for the fan base. And it's an easy guy to root for, man. Honestly, always smiling. His family is very cute. He always has his son on the field who's always smiling. And it's like, I don't know. I think it's just an incredible story. And that's why baseball is great. All sports are great, but especially baseball, man. I feel like in baseball, you always hear these stories of guys kind of, coming into their own, maybe a little later in their career, or like, look at the difference between Jackson Merrill and Jurickson Profar, right? Like Jackson Merrill making his first All-Star game, 21 years old, changed positions, was drafted as a shortstop, the only guy not traded in the Soto deal. So many things that go along.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, Profar, bounces around, comes to the pods, leaves the pods, comes back to the pods. Yeah. And now he's an all-star, man. It's pretty awesome.
I really think that'll help him stay. I think he'll take a cut to stay here because this is really the only place he's been successful. So you can kind of take a team-friendly deal. You know what I'm saying?
Could not agree more. I would be shell-shocked if he leaves. I think we give him like a 3-year deal. And I think he signs it because he also is his agency is the MVP Sports Group, who also support Manny, Toddy, and Arise.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those dudes have a good relationship with SD. And, especially if we win some fucking games this year, pardon my language, but if we win some games, if we keep winning and, we make a little run in the playoffs, like, dude, Pro's going to get a little back from SD and he deserves it. I mean, he's making
$1 million.
He's making 13 times less money this year than Eric Hosmer.
That's ridiculous.
Eric Hosmer's like us right now, bro. He has a podcast.
Yeah, he's a podcaster.
He's making 13 mil. Profar is starting in the All-Star game, and he's making $1 million. It's incredible.
It's wild. So let's talk about the bullpen. It struggled over the last couple days, but overall this season has been decent. There's some high leverage guys, low leverage guys. Let's talk about those high leverage guys. Top 3 current pitchers in that Padre bullpen.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a pretty well-known answer here. Without a doubt, number 1 is Bobby Fastballs, Robert Suarez. Made his first All-Star game this year. Another incredible story. Used to be a, construction worker in Venezuela, and now he is one of the best closers, if not the best closer in baseball. He's been massive. I remember if we had this conversation, Trey, last year, we'd be talking about, is that one of the worst contracts on the team? And now he has been nothing short of amazing. Hader leaves. Not one person has thought about Josh Hader in 3 months, bro. It's been insane. I forgot he even existed until I thought about it.
I saw him give up a walk-off yesterday. That's the only thing I've seen. Yeah.
Classic. And Jeremiah Estrada, who, comes out of nowhere. He was DFA'd by the Cubs. We pick him up. And, he had that 13 strikeouts in a row, which is an MLB record. He did get the flu about a month ago, and he hasn't really been the same since. Praying that he figures out what's going on there, but he's a gamer. So I'm going to put him as our number 2 weapon in the bullpen. And then number 3, former top prospect or top 3 prospect from Cuba, Adrian Morejon, man. And he's found finally after, 5+ years of trying to figure out what Adrian Morejon is, with injuries, with him starting, with him relieving, with him just not being there mentally. We finally figured out what he kind of is, and it's a high leverage reliever. And I think Adrian Morejon will continue to grow as a high leverage reliever and really be a guy. Yeah.
See, my one argument would be for that 3 slot. I think Stephen Kolek since June has been one of the Stevie K's, I call him.
I saw your tweet. I like that nickname.
Stevie K's. He has since June, he's given up 2 earned runs. I'm pretty sure. 3.
Dude,
maybe.
He had that fucking part of my language. I'm trying
also. No, you're good.
I'm really trying to work on my cursing. I've heard from multiple people, mostly my parents, that they like the show, but I need to stop the cursing. So I catch myself. But I still need to throw a couple dollars in the cuss jar. Couldn't agree more. I think Steven has been awesome. He is right now would easily be my 4th. And I think he's growing into someone that I could see, next year being a high leverage guy. And right now 100%. We need him as a guy who we're up or down by 5 runs in the 6th, put him in the game and
get outs.
And get outs, man.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I feel like isn't talked about enough in baseball is the reliever that can get you outs when the game is somewhat out of reach, either one way or the other.
Yep.
Because that saves your bullpen for the next day. And then instead of having to pitch Robert Suarez when the game is, 6-3 in the 6th, you can get Stephen Kolek. If you can get me 6 outs without giving up a run, that is almost as valuable as a closer, bro.
Yeah,
almost.
100%.
That forms the game. It's so massive. He's been great. But the other guys, man, we just actually recorded an episode of the Divine Deck Pod with my brother right before this, and we were getting after it a little bit on what do we do, man? The other guys, Año de los Meatballs, Tio Wandy.
Dude, what can you do about Tio Wandy?
Been better recently, but still, holy shit, dude. Like these guys are tough to watch.
So at the trade deadline, to address that, would you say they should? Well, who do you think they should go get?
Yeah, so we actually, funny you can ask that. Or you asked that. I actually just talked about that for an hour. I would say there's two ways to go about it. One is you go and get Tanner Scott from the Miami Marlins, who is going to be asked about by everyone and their mother, and you give up a upper-ish echelon prospect, probably around a 5 or a 6 level prospect, and you say this is going to be our 7th inning guy or maybe our 8th inning guy if Jerry doesn't come back and is the guy that we're assuming, and we believe that this guy will pitch high leverage innings in the playoffs. Then a kind of echelon lower, I would say, is the Kirby Yates type pitchers where, a reunion with the Yates of hell is what I used to call them. And, Kirby's having an incredible season. He's 37 on a team that's not making the playoffs. He's not going to cost a lot on an expiring deal. I like the idea of, I would love Tanner Scott. I think he's been great. He made his first All-Star game this year. Like he's going to not cost a ton. He'll cost more than probably the other options. But I like the idea of getting like 2 or 3 guys, man. And maybe trying to find a way to package a Wandy in one of those deals.
Yeah, because he's on that 4-year deal.
Stinky, bro.
Yeah.
And you might have to take, it sucks, but you might have to low-key put a valuable S prospect in a deal for that, right?
Yeah.
And figure it out. But another guy who I don't know if they'd trade, but would be kind of funny if they did, is a little reunion, bro. We traded him for Cease. Bring him back. Steven Wilson. They just sent him down. They literally just sent him down to the AAA. Even though he's been great this season. He's like a 3 ERA. So something's up with the White Sox.
Well, they don't know what they're doing. That's the 2016 Padres.
Dude, right? I mean, they're in a tough spot. But yeah, I would say that. What about you?
I mean, I don't know if Preller's going to be willing to give up the talent to get like a Crochet, but I would love to see him go after a lower level pitcher. I mean, Michael Cope could be good. I mean,
Dude, he's been giving up some. If we're talking about someone giving up some nukes,
he's giving up some nukes.
I want to say real quick, I do want to say I am or at least used to be a believer that the Ruben magic, where he could fix anyone. And he has already been making moves with guys like Kolek, who I thought were cooked, and now they're starting to show some promise. That being said, Kopech seems like a guy who he gives up a lot of nukes, bro. I feel like he's a little bit, I don't know. I could see him being he'll be a guy who we get, and he's either Emilio Pagan or a dog, bro. Like there's no in between. But hey, if for the right price, I'm with it.
Yeah, because I don't think it'll cost that much. I think it'll take like a 20 to 30 prospect, maybe.
Is he a free agent next year, Kopech?
Yeah, he's an expiring contract.
Okay, yeah. So if with how he's been pitching, and I know a couple White Sox fans, they want him off the team. Yeah, give me Kopech. I think, and I wonder if you agree with me, Trey. We need some bodies, bro. We need some guys that could just get me some outs. Because right now, look at our starting pitching. Our starting pitching right now that we're relying on for the rest of the season is right now our number one is who? Like, I guess, honestly, Michael King. So I would say Michael King's our number one. He's already almost like, I think he's like 7 innings away from his innings, like the most he's ever pitched in Major League Baseball in a season.
Dang.
Dylan Cease, who actually pitched, he was one bad pitch to Suarez away from actually having another really solid outing. He's hit or miss. I still think in a playoff game, he could be a guy that gives us 7 2/3 of shutout ball. So I'd put him as our 2. Then I put Matty Nux, and then
the RV.
And then it gets sketch because I don't think, and this might be a hot take, I don't think we see either Yu Darvish or Joe Musgrove for the rest of the season.
Either of them? I think Joe's gonna have to get surgery.
I think Joe Musgrove will be getting Tommy John surgery and should have already gotten it. And then I think with you, dude, like restricted list shit is sketch. Like he's not even getting paid right now. So there's something going on with his family. Hope everything's good, but that's never good, man. And like
100%.
You hear those and you're like, shoot, dude, we need another starter too. So right now, at least we know what we kind of need. I think what we really need is another starter that can get us innings and get us, a 3.5 to 4 ERA guy who can pitch the rest of the season. Not a Rich Hill type who we lose every game when he's in, but a guy who I actually think we could win with.
I mean, I think you could go to the Texans and the Rangers and
we can get this shot.
Yeah. I think you could go. I mean, talk to him about Scherzer. They're struggling. That's an aging starting pitching core. I mean, you could see if you could package a starter and Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, if they pay down Scherzer's deal, right?
I think they would.
I mean, I also think we have a good relationship. Preller has a great relationship with Texas.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chris Young, former Padres, their GM.
Shout out to my boy.
Dude, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, how funny would that be 3 years later after one of the I'll never forget where I was when Ken Rosenthal.
Me too. I'll never forget. I was going to a family event, and I have a bunch of Dodger people in my family. Yeah. So I was like, we got Max Scherzer. Like, I was all hyped, and then, dude, I was like, no way. There's no way that just happened.
Yeah, I pretty much exact same. I was on a family vacation back east, and we were, kind of like a happy hour thing, and we got the notification. I was like jumping up and down. My girlfriend was there. She's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "We got this." One of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah.
And obviously, the rest of the season went as the rest of the season went. But you look back, it's like maybe that wasn't the worst thing in the world. I got to look back on that. Who we were going to give up in that trade too. I kind of forget.
It was high level stuff.
Yeah, it's funny looking back on, 3 years later. It's always every trade's funny to look back on. But dude. I mean, Scherzer would be great. Andrew Heaney is another guy who I've heard of.
Yep.
Or heard they might be trading. I think Tyler Anderson on the Angels might cost a little bit. I think a deal with him and Carlos Estevez would be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
But dude, if there's one thing we both know, Preller makes shit happen. So, it's not like we got a GM that sits on their hands. For better or for worse, that guy makes things happen.
Yeah, something's going to happen. Yeah. So for my final question, I'm going to get off baseball a little more into you. So everyone I know the Devine brothers. If you could take a fictional pair of brothers, like movie, TV show, book, whatever, and pair them to you two, who do you think that would be and why?
Woo! That's a good one, man. All right, fictional brothers, dude.
Phineas and Ferb.
You know what's funny? Phineas and Ferb's a good one. Actually, in the show, in Phineas and Ferb, like the intro, when they're like, it's like 104 days of summer vacation. The first day is June 3rd, which is my birthday. So I've always thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But I would say, and this sounds funny because they're actually real people, but it is somewhat fictional. I'd say the Hardy Bros, dude. I was a big WWE fan growing up.
Yeah.
I would say I'm kind of more, obviously my name's Matt. I'm kind of more of the Matt Hardy type. He's just kind of the Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
A little bit more Daredevil-y, I guess. But dude, I would say the Hardy Bros. Like me and Mees both grew up huge WWE fans. And I think a lot of our humor and, how we kind of act is very heavily influenced on growing up on WWE. And Jeff Hardy, I went as his in 7th grade for Halloween too. So I'd say those guys.
Can you do the,
Oh, yeah. Could hit a swanton bomb back in the day. I could hit it pretty good at the pool. Twist of Fate, all those moves, bro. I had that down. SmackDown versus Raw video game.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right, Matty D. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the Fizz Show. Go ahead and plug all your socials. Say what you gotta
dude.
Say.
Hey, first off, I want to shout out my guy Trey Fox, Fizz, dude. Love what you're doing and very grateful that you had me on, man. I appreciate how you've supported, the DSG throughout the years. And I'm excited to do the same with the Fizz Show, dude. Sky's the limit. You just keep going and, good things are going to happen. If you're listening to this, you want to check out some of our stuff, you can check us out on Instagram, YouTube, all the social media sites that you're kind of hooked on. DevineSportsGospel posts a lot about the pods. We're going to start branching out into more sports too. And, just very grateful that I was a member or guest on the Fizz Show. This was great.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Hey, everything that is normally in the description is in the description. Go ahead and check that out. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Appreciate you, bro.